What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Carlotta Chat with Show. Okay, you guys are like, Carlotta, we get two shows in a week. Yeah, today you guys do. Because I'm caught up, kind of. I got a couple of more things to do, but yeah, I kind of feel a little good better. Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the show. Man, so much is going on. I just thought I come on and talk to y'all about a few hot topics. Somebody asked me last time, it's not gonna be this today's it's a word, it's not gonna be a it's a word, but I really want to say that somebody asked me what's doing the work. Because I've been talking about lately about people need to do the work. Whatever it is that you're finding hard to do and you're replacing things to that don't fulfill you because you're scared to do the tough work of becoming the best version of you. It's so hard. I had that problem this morning. I was like, I had something to do this morning. I was like, so drained. And I was like, oh my God, I really have to get structured. I really have to discipline myself to get structured in the way I want to do because I have a purpose for this and I have to be better structured. And sometimes I can replace it with something where, that's easier. Like I'll start doing something else or I do this. Like today, I'd never seen the Bob Dylan story. The story they have on about Bob Dylan, and they had to happen to have it. I had to say, okay, I had to look it up on the thing so I could watch it later on because I had other things to do, and I knew I wanted to do a show today, and all that stuff. So it is what it is, y'all. Y'all know how it is. So that's what I mean about doing the work, doing what's required of you so you could get what you need to do and get ahead in what you need to do. Listen, I've been listening to that sermon myself this week because I need it, so I don't be telling y'all nothing. Sometimes I don't need, okay? Sometimes it's me preaching to the choir and myself. All right. Okay, you guys, I hope you've had a good week so far. Was it today, Tuesday? Tuesday. All right. So I said I was going to hit some more hot topics with you. Let's start it off with the announcement that Jay-Z is going to be headlining the Roots Picnic. Remember last year, Maxwell stepped in for D'Angelo because D'Angelo was supposed to be headlining the Roots Picnic, but D'Angelo became ill and Maxwell stood in for and did such a great job. Maxwell did really good at the Roots Picnic, despite all the stuff that was probably going on outside of the Roots Picnic. There was a lot of wild stuff that was going on at the Roots Picnic about people having a hard time getting in, all kind of stuff. Okay, so it was crazy. All right, but you guys, hold on just a second here. I'm gonna give y'all a be right back sign. Hold on, I got something going on. Hold on. And I'll come right back to y'all. Just a second. Why this happen every show? I know y'all tired of me. All right, just a second. All right, you guys. I am back. Okay, just took a minute. Yeah, and happy St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Black people be like, oh, we don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Well, we do. Because I guess, my family's last name is Mahone. We have Irish last name from the probably from the slave master who was probably the rumors were he was like a, the he fathered a lot of the slaves. So yeah, so it's interesting, and a lot of like it's funny because we have lots of members of family that don't use it. They use it in different ways. They drop the e. Some of them call it they self Mahan. Some people kept them put the y on the end, kept the y because there's two different versions. There's the Mahone and the Mahonies, right? So it's really weird. Okay, so should we say even though we have a little Irish blood, should we celebrate St. Patrick's Day? I mean, I just do it for fun, wear the green. It's a nice holiday, okay? But anyway, I know in Kansas City it was a really big holiday. People always celebrated St. Patrick's Day. We used to skip school to celebrate it. It used to be packed. I mean, you're talking about people drinking and partying that weren't Irish at all. Okay, so yeah, funny. All right, you guys. So yeah, just getting that out the way. Okay, so let's get right into it. We were talking about the Roots picnic. Okay, so the Roots picnic this year is going to be headlining Jay Z. Am I surprised that Jay Z is trying to come out and restore? I'm going to tell you what it's looking like. I really am going to say this, and it tells me that there is, Puffy had not. I don't even really know how to say it. I don't really know if I got it right about Sean. Puffy seems like he had not built as much. People, when Puffy was getting hit, everybody skedaddled away. Uh, you can tell that Jay-Z still has strong ties to white capitalism, because and they're not ready to release him yet, even though he was in the Epstein files big. But guess what he was in the Epstein files for? A lot of people, if you read some of it, the ones that I've read, he was in there for selling out his own people for to help white capital. So of course they haven't dumped him yet. But the fact that he's going to be allegedly at the Roots picnic is kind of really strange to me, because the Roots are supposed, no, do they represent that anymore? I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard to say. Even blackness, black, the neo soul. I can't even say neo soul, but the black, what is the word for it? Deep, deep, where we used to have the black deep movement. uh it is even sold out now. I mean, it's even for sale now. Everybody needs money. I think, it's like, I was thinking today, where do you go with this? I mean, how do you? I mean, it's just like I said yesterday. I don't know how to. I don't know how to advocate for people. I really just don't. I go through this. I know there are probably other people who are who are in advocacy, or who like to talk sometimes about advocacy and don't get a sense of frustration. I'm past frustration. I am just at this point now where I'm like, you know what? It's if black people don't care themselves, how are we supposed to care? Like, Jay-Z thinks he's just going to come out and just do this Roots picnic, and you're going to forget all about that. The Epstein file said he was part of the gentrification process. Allegedly, there were two white. There was a white executive telling what's his name, telling allegedly telling Epstein about how black celebrity, particularly Jay-Z, is used to calm down black people so that you won't be protesting you getting gentrified out of neighborhoods, them buying up your blocks and buying up your properties and stuff like that for little to no money, while he came down there and faked out like it was black capital, like he was owning the nets, and ain't even apologized for it yet. Like, like, it'd be one thing if he said, hey, dang, you know what? Like, looking back at hindsight, I just didn't understand the situation. I didn't know what it was. He ain't even did that. And I don't think he's gonna do that, because I think he is what he is. I think we failed to see what this person is. This person was a former, I say this again, he was a drug dealer. He made his things off of what he allegedly done. He didn't ever say that mentality has changed from him. Okay, so drug dealers, if you know something about drug dealers, if you ever known them, I've known drug dealers, and they claim sometimes they have some care for the community, but they really don't. They're out there ruining the community. Back in the '90s, they were, and they didn't care just as long as they got their shit going on. It was about instant gratification. So I don't know really how am I supposed to feel. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. I feel strange even talking about it because I'm like, at this point in the game, I really don't think it matter. I know y'all gonna fill up the Roots picnic. I I think our community, we got so used to seeing people. We wanted to see people make it so bad, and they've used celebrity for many years to because we're black people are an artsy group of people. We're very creative. Black Americans, particularly black Americans, have made a lot of strides in the areas of creative arts in America. Uh, and so a lot of times those people have been put up as people you aspire to. And sometimes if we're asked if we ask questions about, hey, are you representing the community, should you be getting this community so much community support, if you're willing to do anything that sells out the collective, and it doesn't, and for the advocates, sometimes you guys are just criticizing. You don't know how tough it is to be them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them just don't know. A lot of them is just done. Now, Jay-Z, I don't think that's the case. I think Jay-Z is what he is. I think Jay-Z is that. And I'm not, listen, I'm a person who I like capitals and capitalism and free market with a sense of I need to make that clear because there's a lot of people hiding that they're really more communist and, and that's nothing. It's okay if you're they're more socialist, not communist, socialist than they are. I believe in a capitalist market mixed with some elements of socialism. I'll be very honest about that. Okay, free markets that are regulated. All right. So I don't believe I'm not a person who just thinks that the world is going to be the world is going to be fair. I just don't like 1% of the world just having all the wealth and hoarding it. But I also think there had to be that comes with it wouldn't be hoarding if we really had fair markets and free markets that were regulated and the rich were regulated in some ways and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother story. Okay. But I give that because I want to give my own preference. So listen, we're talking about people who does who don't I often look at exploitation. Like Jay-Z, I don't even know if Jay-Z finished high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a kid who went into the rap world. He was going from drug dealing. So he already didn't have a sense of moral ground. No, this is real shit. And so he gets into show business because he's got a gift and a talent. And I don't know if he ever straightened up his moral high ground, except for it looked like he got rid of some people so he could go to the next level. I don't know if that's a sense of shaping moral high ground. you know, I and so I don't know, and you get a kid who's out there, a young man. Well, now he's a grown man, old ass man. You get old ass man who's out there, and his mentality has just been it's a desperado mentality. It's just as long as I make it out, I don't really care, and I keep trying to sell bum deals to the community. And so I know y'all gonna go celebrate. I just it's nothing I don't even want to say. I don't even really want to. I'm just like I'm not at this point in the game. I'm just like I'm not even sure he's really trying to cover up for he's trying to show up at this Roots picnic so that he could cover up his white capitalist bosses can cover their steps with him. And hopefully they're hoping you ignore. This is really a test. Can I tell you this, y'all? This is my personal opinion. This is a test to see how much power that Jay-Z still has. Really, that's my personal opinion. It's a test for him. Hey, does he still have some power from the white capitalists? If he could pull everybody to this Roots picnic, because the Roots kind of represent that black aesthetic, that black but even though they play on Jimmy Kimmel every I don't even want to say like the black power movement they kind of have that, but they're not really. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't move commercially and you can't move business wise. I'm just saying Like when you realize all of us make some mistakes, sometimes we can all make mistakes of exploitation and things like that. But when you realize what you've done, why not come back and be able to say, I'm sorry, hey, I messed up. We're not getting that from Jay-Z. What we get is this idea of, yes, support me because I'm black and I make it, but ignore my exploitation of your hope in me, your aspirations for me. And I had somebody say today, said to me the other day, said, Carlotta, but shouldn't we be allowed to do business and do this and that and do this and that? And I was like, I understand that. And there is a structure in America for how you do business. But I think black people, particularly traditional black America, foundational black America, ADOS, has a responsibility coming from a group that has traditionally been preyed upon by this American system, the racism of it, preyed upon by the political system, preyed upon of just oppression. Should we desire to be exactly what our oppressors are? Should we have a little bit more moral high ground because we've been through so much in this country? Do we have a responsibility to ourselves? I don't know. And I'm frankly like at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't really, I like, I'm tired of caring a little bit because y'all don't care. And y'all gonna let this man get up here and do whatever he gonna say, and y'all gonna go like y'all ran up out there and got that $27 bowl of gumbo that y'all just did nothing but complain about. She charged $27 for that gumbo, and see y'all sitting up here believing these people are billionaires. These people are not. They're doing too much. They $27 for a thing of gumbo. Come on, y'all got it. Oh my lord. It was a little old thing of gumbo too. And yesterday I was fair to Miss Tina because I said, hey, Miss Tina should have not named it. That's just I would have just because it may have been really good gumbo, but shit. You know what I'm saying? Uh I mean, people do sometimes hate because you who you are. But that's neither here or there. The thing is, I'm talking about these people just always doing something. Like they always got to sell. They always trying to sell you some cookie dough batter or some chocolate milk. I mean, they always got something for sale. Shit. So it's kind of wild. It's like I always say, my name is Lindy. Remember the dude from Good Times? I got plenty. He used to sell everything. He opened up his coat and everything was for sale. That's the Carters. Anyway, Jay-Z to return to the stage, headlining. Let me let y'all see this. We're gonna get into it. Yeah, but I'm at a point, a crossroads. I just really don't know, and I really don't care. I said I'm gonna just spend a year and not care. Don't know if I can do. My friend was like, "You advocate at heart." I said, "Maybe," but I just want to feel like what it feels to be free. Don't have no cares. Don't even care about the people. I ain't try. I'm not gonna jump in. You drowning? Oh, well, that's jacked up. I don't know what to feel. I'm at that point. I am okay. But it says Jay-Z. This is from Rolling Stone to return to the stage for headlining performance at Roots Picnic 2026. The performance will take place ahead of the rap icon's Reasonable Doubt album anniversary. Oh, they're really playing it up. Okay. Did they block this one out? Come on, I do not want to. Why would we block this out, Rolling Stones? And I don't feel like signing in. Hold on. Let me pull it up on another way y'all can see it. Okay. The Brooklyn Icon will close out night one of the 2-day Philadelphia Festival alongside the Roots on May 30th, marking his most anticipated live appearance. Wow, y'all should be inviting, because remember the last time, I think, was it that he backed up Roots? The Roots were kind of involved with it. Remember when what's her name stole the show for his reasonable doubt? What was her? What's her name? I don't forgot. Jaguar Wright. That's what Jaguar. People really don't know. Jaguar going through some stuff, but Jaguar was really that girl for a little bit in the like late 90s, early 2000s. And she like stole the show really from his reasonable doubt kind of thing. Her vocals was legendary from that. Too bad Jack Cake, because Jaguar became an enemy now. But it says Jay-Z is heading back to both the Roots and Jay-Z. Okay. But Jay-Z is a lot of people by that time. Jay-Z is heading back to the stage, and Philadelphia is getting the moment first. The Roots Picnic has announced the Brooklyn. Okay, so this is probably going to be a tour. This is to distract. And they probably need money. That's my personal belief. Okay. Oh no, they're billionaires. I know what you're saying. Yes, but I can't explain. The Roots has announced the Brooklyn Rap Icon has a headliner for the night one of its 2026 festival set for May 30th at Belmont Plateau. The Roots curate the annual event, will also perform across a 2-day run. It's the kind of announcement that makes the rest of the festival season feel quieter by comparison. And listen, there's a reason he chose that Roots picnic, because the Roots picnic, the Roots are kind of grounded, like I said, in that Black cultural energy. But let me tell you, they have even taken Black, what used to be, and I can't think of the word, Black power aesthetics and all these things, and they boxed them up. And a lot of these people who came out in the 90s who looked like they were power to the people, they were rooted and grounded in Blackness, now are very commercial. But he picked there because they still have that thing to you guys. Because they still got the afro picking in here. And I'm not dogging anyone. I understand the need to make money, but it's just like at this point, it's like, okay. Like the other night when I saw Sinners, they were doing the Sinner. I said, what is Shabu? This is no offense to Shabuzi, but Shabuzi just sit up here and said something crazy that offended Black Americans. But yet y'all had him on stage. Like these celebrities, I just like, you are not in with the program. It's not that we don't love people in the diaspora or love our people throughout the diaspora. It's that we got some people in this country who are trying to erase Black culture, and they don't have any respect for Black culture. And I know that's not all members of the diaspora, but we got a lot of people here who fucking don't got no respect. And then they want to get on and hang out with Black people, and Black celebrities just let them do it, because Black celebrities are trying to hang on themselves. They see the movement, but they won't fight it. So we have to fight it for them, and they got to act like they pretend like they don't even see nothing happening. Like the fuck you had to have Shabuzi up there last night. That was a beautiful thing. I love the dance, everything going on. It really, that whole thing is that's whole performance from Sinners is such a strong performance. I think it beckons history and stuff in so many ways. But damn, what does this got to do with him? It's globalism. It's globalism trying to do an erasure of the diaspora, really, not us. It's really kind of trying to merge all y'all into us. Like we are the face, but everybody becomes Black. Even you see people here who are from a different culture just trying to get offended when Black Americans say, talk about their own culture and their own thing. They get offended because they feel closer to Black American culture, because a lot of times they're first generation or something like that. But if you become friends with Black Americans and stuff, you will know that our history, our lives are very different. We have a very different background. Like, my girlfriend, one of my best girlfriends, whose background, her family is from St. Thomas, but her father family was Puerto Rican and Dominican, I forget, or something like that. So she has spread out a global, like, family everywhere, right? You know what I'm saying? Whereas I don't have that same background. My family roots go to the South, and they go to slavery. And while there's slavery in a different place, and when y'all lie and say it don't matter what port you was dropped out there, yes, it does. You know, that's because you don't know history. The American chattel slavery was very different. America was the introduction to racial, mental things. What the American slave trade did was very different, and you can read that. Yeah, so it creates a different dynamic, and not that they weren't oppressing people everywhere, but our dynamic was very different. We are the introduction. We're in the belly of the beast. We're the introduction to race. We're in the introduction to uh, the nigga. You know, the 3/5 human, the hangings, the beatings, the segregation, white water fountains, black water fountains. Historically what our people are born. It's very different from another person's back. You know what I'm saying? From another people in parts of the diaspora. But that's globalism trying to make us all the same. We're not. But I don't just go on that. But they use this because now they're trying to use groups like the Roots, uh, because now we've moved. Let me tell y'all, there was a time when we tried to Africanize everything because we didn't have an understanding of Africa our damn self. Most black people just was making up stuff. They were just trying to connect to Africa. Even the Black Power movement was trying to connect to Africa in some sort of way. They was wearing dashikis. They didn't understand what the fuck they meant. They was wearing all kind of crazy looks and everything. And we was giving too much of our creation over to Africa. When Africa, if you look back in the 1600s, 1700s, their music was nothing like our music. We're very different. Even though we come from that continent, this is a group of Africans our ancestors are a group of Africans from various parts of Africa who mostly people think West Ghana. I think the slave trade was all along that route. It could have been a number of places. And as they do our ancestry, they find that out sometimes. People who are brought here from different parts of Africa, different cultures of Africa, and thrown into one place that they didn't know, having to learn the language, having to learn. So we created our own structures, our own self, we had to create it to survive. No matter where you were born in America, even though we got different, the Mississippi culture is different from the New Orleans culture. The New Orleans culture is different from the Arkansas culture. It's various parts, but we all had to survive. And we're a culture that we built. So what happens is they're using these very black aesthetics who have not really grown. It's like Jill Scott was still Africanized and stuff and everything. Because what Jill Scott is probably not realizing, there's a whole movement happening on the grassroots that we are no longer looking to something we don't know or understand, but we're giving our ancestors credit for the world that they built here in America. But this group is very much into, remember, they're connected to, still very much connected to, they look still very culturally relevant, but they're very much connected to white capital and the ideals of globalism. So, and because a lot of black entertainment, we're looking at the black entertainment world, which, listen, I'm a part of it. I'm an artist. I like theater. I'm a theater. I'm majoring to get my master's right now in theater. And I'm like, I remember saying to one of my people the other day, I said, I'm so discouraged. What I thought I wanted to do theater for, I don't know if I want to do for, and they were like, I remember this one friend said to me, said, do you remember what you told me? How you were so excited? I was so excited couple weeks ago. I was in class, and TWU. I didn't know why I was drawn to that school, Texas Women's University, where I go to. I know that when I came for the orientation, sometimes I see things in like passing, and I remember like when I was at a particular school, I saw them have a booth somewhere, and I remember being slightly intrigued just looking at it, but walking past it and feeling some connection to it, but I didn't quite get it. Then when I was thinking about going to my master's, which I never wanted to do, but I thought about it, when I thought about was started thinking about it, I was like, I remember that school. And so I went to an orientation about for it and talked to them and everything. And I had a chance to go to another school that was really nice that I could have got in. Would have had to audition and everything, but I probably could have got in it very more likely. That's big time, okay? But something in my spirit was saying to me, this is the place, right? And I didn't understand. Well, one of my theater idols is a lady named Margot Jones. And she created the regional theater. She was born right here in Dallas, in Texas. I did a thing on her when I was in my uh, uh, when I was in my undergrad years. One of my papers was on her, and I was like, I always looked up to the energy of Margot. So we were in class and we're talking, and they were like, "You do know." Like, I'm in class, so I'm not knowing why I'm drawn to the school. So we're talking in this one of my theater classes, and we start the discussion about Margot Jones. And I didn't realize that she had graduated from Texas Women's University. I was like, what? Like, it was so huge to me. I was like, oh my God, it's a white woman. It's a white lady. And I was like, oh my God, like, y'all don't know, like, this moment, like, it made me understand full circle because Margot's history had such an impact on me and what she was able to do business wise for the theater and stuff like that. So it was to me, it was just like a blessing. One of my friends was like, look, you were so excited about finding out you were going to TW and you were walking the footsteps of Margot. Like, I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, she said, just don't get discouraged by what you see out there. She said, it's sort of like, she said, just, spiritual, let's talk about, don't be the Jonah. I was like, Jonah hated, because Jonah, when God asked Jonah to go to, and if you know the story of Jonah, the whale, and the whale, when he asked Jonah to go to Nineveh, Jonah did not want to go. He hated the people of Nineveh. He was like, they are horrible. They're the worst. I don't care. Let them go. God said, I'm going to destroy him if you don't go. I don't care. Do what you got to do. No, I need you to go. And he ignored God. And that's, then he had to make the decision to go. And in the end, it ended up being Jonah didn't understand. They're human just like he was. And they had to, they needed to know what God could do in their life too. So it, like what my friend was saying to me was that you have a purpose that you are supposed to do. You can't let what you see there, what that is, what it's become, or yet your eyes is open to it now. You can't let it discourage you. And I was like, yeah, And I can't lie to y'all. I'm a little bit like, ah. but now we're seeing, that's what we're seeing, this place, these people being used now. A lot of our Black power people who came out that had Black power energy and stuff like that, because they need money. They're so connected to all the things that they didn't at first stand for. And it's hard for Black people now, because not for some of those people now, because they've made such commercial strides. And so now it's hard to stand up to that system. Because you would think, like, if something has Black culture has the roots, they just had an article. I mean, they just had Epstein files come out. You're supposed to be steeped, the Roots Picnic, steeped in Black culture. Boom. Steeped in Black culture. You're supposed to be representation. I thought at one time of the Black Power movement, when we seen people like Erykah Badu and all them, they dressing in their certain looks and those were all representations of the neo-so Black Power movement. Only person I think that was not that was, that was still part of the Black neo-soul movement was Maxwell, but Maxwell's Haitian background, right? But he still had a little bit of that aesthetic, but not as much as them rooting themselves culturally, the sounds and everything. So now we got these people who once represented Black culture, Black American culture, and the connection to our ancestry and our roots in the art world, in the music business, now being disconnected from the grassroots. Like they don't even know what the fuck is going on. They done became so commercial that they bringing in a guy who was in the Epstein files for selling out the very ancestry and people you are saying that you represent. And why? Because he's highly connected to Live Nation and all these people. And y'all just gonna let him use your name, like without no questions, without no answer. Hey Jay, we would love to have you, but we need to understand something. You up in them Epstein files, and you up in there thick. You up in there with Harvey Weinstein. You up in there with a lot of shit going on. We need to know. Now they saying, these executives saying that you are the reason that a lot of our people get stand out, but they don't represent that no more. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. What once was the Black Power, when we saw those guys coming up in the 90s, like what D'Angelo representing, all that stuff. I'm not talking about D'Angelo, God rest his soul. I'm talking about the rest of them that's alive and well. Maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they wasn't what we thought they was. They was just dressed like it. They was just dressed like they was connected. They was just singing like they was connected. But baby, they false. Like they have commercially just really, they don't even know where we're at anymore. That there's a movement moving across that we understand now. We're looking at globalism. We saying, we know there's no erasure of Black American culture. They do the opposite. Everything that the grassroots is doing to try to save their Black asses, they do the opposite. The celebrities, all of them, even the deep neo, supposed to be power to the people, Black people are all doing the opposite. And it's so easy. Y'all gotten they leading a lot of the community, because 60% of the community is always led astray. Because y'all just think it's about hating Trump. Y'all so off. I'm telling you, when you hear radio stations, all these places, you are off. These people are paid. Democratic Party. We are not here as Black people to be Democrats. We are here to stand our moral, as a Black, God brought us here for a reason. It's to stand our moral high ground, no matter what party it is. And it ain't about you hating Trump. Once all them they talking that stuff now, they like Trump. They was all hanging out with me. He ain't changed. He ain't no different. Except for he got a new power structure. What is wrong with y'all? It's like, why? How can we? I don't know. How do we? I don't, because we can't even think without you saying, we can't even say, hey, this actually, DEI was not a good idea. Like we can't even tell y'all that Trump destroying DEI wasn't really about you, even though for a couple of percentage of y'all, it's really about white women, because white women were the biggest benefactor of DEI, biggest benefactor of affirmative action. Why isn't Reverend Al Sharpton and all them fools fighting that? Why didn't they say we didn't even get no representation? We didn't even, Black people didn't even, you know what? We was moving on our own merit. That's I'm gonna tell you the truth. Because affirmative action wasn't really helping us move. We got all our jobs because we, an idiot like, God rest his soul. But Charlie Cook was talking like an idiot when he was talking about Black people. He don't know if Black people got their jobs. I'm like, we wasn't the ones that got our jobs. We were the ones that was ousted the system. We had to be extraordinary to get in positions. It's white supremacy that had privilege in America. And they try to gaslight us and make us think that we didn't have. No, as a matter of fact, we really been getting the jobs and stuff because you know what? Because of our own merit. Because these people at affirmative action and what is it? DEI was they had these programs, but they were using it for other groups. Less than 4% of Black people got in for DEI. I didn't understand the boycott for Target. I didn't know what y'all was talking about. I'm like, no, what I agree with Yvette Carnell and them talking about, why not have a movement or surrounding lineage? This is not about race. We have been left out of the structure. The very people it was created for have been left out. And y'all, I had somebody tell me this the other day, and I respect them. And they said, well, the reason we had, I know we didn't get much from either group, but that's the only thing we got. But you wasn't moving because of it. It's like it sounded like the reject the girlfriend who said, I can't do nothing. You know, I mean, he the only man that want me. You know how pitiful and broke that sounds? Instead of saying, all right, you broke down that structure, but now we need structure that really helped the people because this didn't help our people. These structures were set up for the very people who partnered with white supremacy. Other groups who rode off of our justice claim. But y'all don't want to see that. Y'all follow these fools out here. It's frustrating. So now I'm looking at this and I'm seeing Jay-Z's going to headline the Roots Picnic. And I think, I said, okay. Dr. He didn't just have a full-ass thing in the Epstein files, calling him a sellout, but y'all supposed to represent Blackness and deep collective thought Blackness, culturally aware Blackness. Because they don't represent that no more. Like, why are we pretending? He's going to have no accountability for anything. No accountability. No accountability to the community. You're just going to let him walk up on stage. You're going to let him rap and y'all going to celebrate him with the greatest rappers in the game. You're going to be, instead of understanding, now, if Trump was in them Epstein files saying anything, y'all be dogging Trump all day. But you ain't got no smoke for somebody who actually sold you out. Who claims he had a responsibility. Well, he never did. You know what? Because he's the one that said his presence is enough. Remember he said that? Where are we going? Where are we going? We don't even make no sense. I don't even know. That's why I say I'm stopping. I'm stopping. I'm being like being Mary Jane. I feel like I'm at this point. I know people gonna say me, don't do that. Nope. I'm not gonna even look. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Ain't no protesting, ain't nothing. Hey, y'all just say, hey, it's life. We just hope for the best. Hopefully God love us enough that they don't erase us. Y'all ain't got enough discernment and fortitude to deal with none of this. Even if we all think differently in certain things, little things. But at least, even when I say with Yvette and even with Tyreek and them, even though they disagree with each other in a lot of majority things, but they still a little bit on the same path. They still fighting a little bit of the same thing. They still a little bit awoke to a little bit of something. It's like I heard, I remember Paul, I remember in the Bible, they were going at Paul, and Paul was like, they was telling Paul about another man that was coming up who was more popular than him and more this and that. And Paul, was the writer of the New Testament, was the majority of the New Testament. And I think it was Apollo. They were saying Apollo preaches this way, Paul preaches that way. Apollo was a new preacher on the scene at the time. And Paul said a very powerful thing. Paul said, it don't matter what I think of Apollo, none of that, as long as Christ is preached. Very deep. Very powerful. And that's the same thing. I think we have to sometimes take for your things, even though they be arguing with each other. But as long as that the the ideas. Hopefully, I mean, you might have slight disagreements, but as long as if people are able to think along the ways, uh, or getting an introduction along the ways to something that could possibly help people. We're not gonna all agree, but people are can getting on. Sometimes code is even just having a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a spark that gets people to thinking in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Jay Z is going to be at this picnic. He's trying to do damage control. He's going to be allowed to do damage control. It is what it is. Okay. And without probably having any kind of, uh, my opinion, any kind of be made to have any kind of accountability. Okay. Okay. He picked the Roots picnic for a reason, in my opinion. Okay, because it looks like uh, it needs they it needs that. Okay, he needs that aesthetic, that energy from the community. Okay, I just wrote this thing about the public, and I said I wrote this about the Epstein files. I said I need the public to be smarter, but maybe I'm asking too much. I said, listen, just because someone's name is in the Epstein files, remember, does not make them guilty of something. This man knew a lot of people for different reasons. Now, some of y'all have family members as bad as this man, and if they had a file, you would be in it. So please read and find out why folks is in the file, and then see if there's a merit behind what has been said. And the reason why I put somebody like Jay-Z there is because we already knew these things about Jay-Z. Jay-Z, we know the results of the Brooklyn Nets, of what happened with Brooklyn as a result of the Brooklyn Nets. We know the results of what's happened to Black Americans in New York City has a result since that has happened. We know this has been a tool used for gentrification. We know they ain't lying in them Epstein files about some of the shit they were saying, whether he knew he was being used as a tool or not. But I think he very much knew. That's my personal opinion. Okay. So yeah, but other than that, everybody else that uh uh Justice Department, they saying Justice Department withheld and removed some Epstein files related to Trump. I believe that. Okay. They got Trump, and that he should be releasing all the files related to him. Okay. Now, if y'all didn't know, Trump was a womanizer back in the day. But one thing I'll say about Trump, that you never saw him with young girls. Always saw Trump with was it the like women maybe 15 or 20, 10 or 15 years old younger than him. But not, you know what I'm saying. But who knows? You know, but just because your name is mentioned in the Epstein files, depends on what they're saying, does not mean you're a bad person. It's like Whoopi Goldberg was saying. He knew a lot of celebrities. He knew a lot of stars. Let's not make this a witch hunt all the time, okay? But Jay-Z, there was very specific things being said, and there was an executives who are in the know, and executives who understood what he was for. So you can find out what he's in there for. And should y'all just be giving him a pass to get on, run around here? He done just set up there. They done just set up here and told you this man sold you out. And he was used as a celebrity tool to hold you down, and probably with a lot of other celebrities. And the tools are being used now. That's probably what the Roots Picnic need to get some sponsorship. I digress. I'm moving on. Okay. Okay. I saw this interesting article. I mean, this interesting thing where this is, and this woman said, this woman was saying that, and I was like, where nursing home are you going to? She says, let me pull this up here. This woman said a caregiver says you'd be surprised how many elderly people admit their biggest regret is never having kids. Okay. Let's listen to her real quick, tell you what her thoughts on it.
I work with elderly people, and I spend majority of my day listening to a lot of their stories. And a lot of them regret the way they lived their life. And they regret things, not like their career and making money and all those things. No, they regret things like not having kids and not settling down and allowing themselves to find love and not building themselves a family. They regret things like not talking to their sisters for years, cutting them off over some petty arguments. You see, when you're young, it's easy to feel invincible, like you don't need nobody. That's why this no contact thing is such a trend. A lot of people would rather go no contact with people than trying to salvage relationships. I said this before, but I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Relationships. But that's neither here nor there. But when you're young, you won't feel it. But you will feel it when you're old. You will feel it when your body's starting to shut down on you and you want somebody there that cares about you. You will feel it when you're coming to the end of your life and you realize that you're around nobody and nothing and nobody cares. Like you could blow away in the wind and nobody would give a fuck about your existence. Relationships.
Uh, First of all, let me just say this: there are women who can't have children. There are men who can't have children. Okay. And there are people who, when they do have children or who didn't want children and can have children, who have wonderful lives and are full. And this is just somebody talking, don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, there might be some people might be having regrets, and that's they regret. That happens. Everybody got regrets for certain things, but that's an assumption you making. You making a big ass motherfucking assumption. Let me just say something. I've been to plenty of nursing homes. I talked to plenty of older people. And guess what? And you can find this is straight up facts. You know what? Most of the people that's put up in nursing homes, who they put up in nursing homes by, you can look up the stats, girl. They kids. They family. And a lot of them people was good to their family, but their family done got so busy and stuff now they don't want to be bothered. They can't be bothered. That is a lie. Trying to make the idea that having kids is your guarantee to not being lonely is crazy. That's why a lot of these people just be having babies because they don't understand the full ramification of having children. They don't understand that you can have children, but if you don't raise them right and you don't rear them right, they ain't just your ticket to not being lonely. No, they will go off and do other stuff. Some of them you can raise them with all the intention, all the great things, and they still don't want to be bothered with you. A lot of lonely elderly people are lonely because their kids have abandoned them. Now, as far as no contact goes, it depends on what you got no contact for. Some people trying to save their life. You can't just be in contact with some of your relatives that's crazy as hell, that's threatening your existence. Girl, shut up. It's not, this is somebody trying to make people feel guilty for not having children or not having this and that. Yes, people may have some regrets if they don't have children, but it sure the fuck ain't because they get, well, see, because I'm going to be lonely when I'm old. There are people in the nursing home right now who are great teachers, and they got more they students and people who love them coming to see them than a person with 4 kids. Oh, baby, you could check that. That's everywhere around. It depends on how you live your life, what you come here to do and give. It ain't about you having kids. As a matter of fact, you know, and the Bible said, Paul even said it's better really not to marry. If you don't want to, you live a life, you can live a life of service to God. You ain't gotta be worried about nothing. It depends on your purpose. Who you call here to be. And yes, there'll be some people who was probably supposed to be, should have been a family and they was out here wilding out, doing all kind of crazy shit, and never wanted to be a family person. They just wilding out their life and they ain't have no purpose and stuff like that. Well, those are those people, and it may be later on in their life they will regret it. But everybody ain't like that. Some people have purposely decided in their life, hey, this is what my life is dedicated to. And they might hate that they have a purpose other than being, what society expects them to have. And maybe a little part of them does do it, but there's a price for everything. Some people go the wide way. You know what I'm saying? Some people go all the general way, but some people, it's brave. It takes a brave soul to say, you know what? Yeah, kids sound like a great idea. It sounds like a nice, but I feel like I'm here for something different, and live their purpose in service to that. Service to that, because there's a lot of y'all that got kids and walking around and shouldn't have them. You just shouldn't have them because this girl talking up here. Well, see, you gonna see, yeah, you ain't had no kid, and you gonna hate it when you old. No, children do not guarantee you not guarantee you not being alone. Go in the nursing home. You a caregiver. You should know that. Go in the nursing home right now. Walk up and down them hallways, and you're going to find out a lot of that. I got 3 kids. I ain't seen them in 5 years. You can look at the ID channel, boo. And I seen elderly people where scammers have come up in the house and taken care of an elderly person. They kids, they never checked on them or nothing. And by the time it's too late, the scammer done got them because the kids don't pay no attention. So don't be trying to make nobody out to be like they got because she ain't got no kids. Lies. Sometimes people come to care for you that ain't even your family members. I see somebody in here that said kids are not a retirement plan. But I believe it also can be true that some people can regret how they treated their children or how they treated this and that. It's about the relationships you build and the life you live. Death is a long. Can I say this? I don't care if everybody's standing around you as you take your last breath. As you take that last breath, look at me acting, okay? As you take your last breath, I don't care if everybody is standing around you. Death is an alone walk. I don't care how many people up in that room. He died with all his family there. No, when you close your eyes, that last breath go out your body, the death walk is alone. And the most important thing you need at that point, it ain't your family. Because see, you can have family, little girl. Let me say something to you, little girl. You can have family. What if your family all get killed in an accident? See, people be talking stupid. People be saying dumb shit. Like what people be saying stuff. Well, you gotta get married. I don't want to die alone. I be like, well, what if your spouse died before you? All there's a lot. The death walk is alone. And let me tell you, the greatest companion you can have with you when you walk through through the other side, as you go into eternity. It's not your mama, it's not your daddy, it's not your kids. I seen the light, I saw my auntie. The greatest companion that you can have is God, a relationship with the Lord. That's the greatest companion because that's the only thing that's going to carry you through the dark times as you transition. That's my belief. That there is nobody walks with you. I don't care who in that room. I don't care if they all loving you. No, you walking that walk alone. Everybody walks it alone. Nobody walks. You can die at the same time. You walking it alone. You walking into eternity alone. So don't let everybody get on here and make you feel guilty, talking crazy. The death walk is alone. If you die in a big old house with nobody around, and you've lived a life that God wanted you to live, you've lived a life so full, But in the end, somebody come in your house and ain't nothing but in your house but you there. It took them a week to find you. But you lived the life God wanted you to live, baby. You lived the best life. It's some people, they find them right away and their kids is all around and stuff, and that they lived their life just nothing. They in eternity going, God, all I did was give to everybody else. I didn't do nothing for myself. Yeah, they was all standing there waiting for me to die so they get my stuff. And you might have a person standing on the other side who just lived life and said, I died alone, but I had a beautiful life. I'm not talking about people selfish and in the self. I'm not talking about that, because those people can die and have horrible, I should have lived better. I should have gave to more people. It depends on your story. But what's consistent and what is true is that death isn't a lone walk. And that the one thing you want with you is not your family, but it's God. Believe that, because your family can't walk it with you. They can comfort you. They can be there, but it's still alone, baby. Listen, when you go through things like, and I only went through an early stage of it, I can't imagine people going through later stages, or when they've been told there's no hope. But when you go up in a room, or you're on the end of a phone call, and they tell you got cancer. Yes, your family goes through something, but that walk that you do is alone. It's alone. Every day I had people checking on me. I had people calling me. My spouse went with me to my appointments. Every day. When I walked to lay on that thing, everybody left out the room when that radiation rays flowed down on my breast. Wasn't nobody in there. It was me and that machine and God. Don't let nobody tell you this. Live the best of life how God would have you live it. Yes, there are going to be regrets, because that's the beautiful thing about life. But don't let nobody trick you into having this pretend world that kids are going to make you this and all of this stuff. This is not true, because you got to pour into them kids to do that. And a lot of y'all don't even like to do that. Y'all just having babies and out here lying to yourself. You've been watching too much. You watched too much Cosby Show growing up, and you thought everything was going to be like Cosby Show. And you understand that Bill Cosby put in work with them kids on that show. He was putting in work on the show for 30 minutes. You can't just have kids and expect them to be there for you. You know how many people have abandoned their children? You know how many people who hate and are jealous of their children, and their children can't even go around. They's like, I can't even be around them because they didn't do the work. So listen, let me tell you something. If you are not going to be a good parent, don't be having no kids like this girl is up here talking about, sounding crazy, because I don't know if she's talking to that many people. She was probably talking about a couple of people. It's various reasons that people are alone, but all of it's alone. The end of your life is alone. Sickness is alone. You can have family and friends and people around to comfort you, but I tell you this, like I said, the greatest companion you can have you is God. When everybody else is forsaking you, God don't. When everybody else is gone, when people hate your guts for no reason, when once people loved you and liked you, you look at a lot of these celebrities. You look at them right now. One day y'all love them, the next day y'all ready to pull their ass. Look, like I just talked about Jay-Z's ass. Okay, one day but one thing that will never forsake you for a mistake you did or a problem you had. That's why people have a hard time. I remember I was having this discussion with people who were talking about Christianity, and one of my people was saying, with one of the people we had it was a real deep discussion, and they were talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, this is gonna be tripping y'all out. I'm going into something else now, but they were saying how Jeffrey Dahmer was a monster, and I know he's in hell. And I said, do you? They were Christians saying this. And they said, well, they said he was a Christian. He got saved or something before. I said, mm-hmm. I said, but according to your faith, Christianity, I said, it's not about being good. It's about the acceptance of Christ and accepting Christ, dying to yourself, and accepting the spirit of Christ and how Christ lived in your life to be better. Christianity says we're all bad. We've all fallen short. We're all evil. So I said, check this out. I said, some of the people he killed could have went to hell and he might not have. It was such a controversy that I said that in this room. They were all like, oh my God. I was saying, because you have a hard time believing it. You could be him too. Maybe you didn't do nothing as bad, but the Bible says if you just lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how I got to this, but I'm just saying life, the one person, yes, that's why I know how I got to this. That God didn't even forsake him if he really truly repented. God didn't forsake him if he truly repented, according to Christian faith. God is the one thing that never forsakes you. Never. Everybody else, your spouse can get mad at you. Tonight, if you ran out here and you was doing all kind of cheating and scheming and doing everything, the one thing, if everybody hates your guts, if you go to God, God will never forsake you. He's with you even when you don't want to be with him. One of my most favorite songs is a song by, I love this. I got a lot of favorite gospel songs, but it's one of my favorite songs is He's Been Faithful by the Brooklyn community. It's a Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. It's that old song, He's been faithful, faithful to, I can't even remember, to me. Looking back, His love and mercy I see. Though at times I have a question in my heart, I believe that He's been faithful, faithful to me. If you ever heard that song, I can't sing it today, but because I can't get the tone in my head. Can't get it, but yeah, but it's a beautiful song. But it's like God has been faithful regardless of who I've been. God sees me. God sees me in all my mess, and trust me, I got a lot of it. I be preaching good to y'all, but this is, to me, I feel like that wisdom is from God, baby, because I'm a mess. But God sees me in all my mess and still ain't forsaken me. I still got up this morning and was able to breathe. Still had God's breath rolling through my body. That's who you got working, but worry about not being with you at the end. Everything else will work itself out. Okay. So that's what I want to say on that note. All right. I hope I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing you worry about being with you at the end. Only thing is God. Okay. People will forsake you. Things will go away, but God won't. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. All right. Moving on. Okay. All right, so y'all, let's talk about this girl. First of all, I gotta go back before I talk about this young lady. I have to find the original. Let's see if I can find the original thing, because y'all, it's so much going on here. Is this the one? Um, Let me see. I'm trying to find the original. This original story. I don't know if I can find the original story. I don't know if I have it. Hold on, y'all. Hmm. I don't know if I have it. Let's see, y'all. Let's see if this is it. Okay. I thought I had this particular. Okay, yes, I do have it. Okay. Okay. This young woman has talked about having an allowance of 50,000 a month. Okay, it says Ryan Clark chimes in on viral 50,000 a month dating debate. Says expecting that upfront means missing the ground of building wealth together. Okay, should establish there here. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all so we can share this.
$600,000 a year so you could be with me is ridiculous. The other piece of it is too, if you are walking into the relationship saying you need 50,000 a month, that means in some way I've already earned it without you. I built this life without your support, without your help, without your sacrifice, without your time. And just because God made you, you're supposed to get this money. That's not how it works. That's called prostitution. Right? And the crazy part about it is, yes, in my relationship with my wife, if there's a big purchase, will she ask me, hey, is this okay? Yes. Most times I'm saying yes anyway, because I know you're not going to put the family in peril based on your purchases, right? But that's because when I was 17 and I walked into Monsanto Park, you was 16 and you ain't have nothing and I ain't have nothing. No. That's not the conversations we're talking about.
Not everybody. Shut up, Ryan. Ryan, let me just say this: a lot of black men talk this stuff. I don't really see it in other communities that much. I mean, maybe if other people tell me if I'm not, and I've been around a lot of other communities, I don't hear this talk about women having preference. Listen, Ryan, everybody doesn't meet when they're 16 and 17. Dak Prescott the other day wanted his wife to sign a prenuptial agreement. In prenuptial agreements, when a woman comes into a prenuptial agreement, there is a negotiation. When a man comes into a prenuptial agreement, there is a negotiation that happens. Hey, okay, I may need what I'm going to need from you is this to being your wife if we're married this amount of time. It is very unromantic, but that's what the fuck y'all want out here is prenups because y'all money's that important. So if money is that important, then we need to talk about it. We need to talk about how important that is. If so, there are some women coming in with demands at 50,000 a month, 60,000 a month, who are doing prenup agreements, or some women who are in partnerships with wealthy men. If most wealthy men, like say for instance, probably wouldn't even blink at something like this. What's his name? What's his name? Jeff Bezos. Let me tell you why Jeff Bezos wouldn't blink at that. Because Jeff Bezos understands to be his other part, to be his other half is work. To especially if you're in the public eye. Women have to have their hair done because women are open to scrutiny being with you, just being with you alone. I mean, I look at Patrick Mahomes' wife. When Patrick Mahomes' wife first came out, people were stalking her. She done did so much. I could see that she done did a lot of work or did a little. That costs money because she wanted to be presentable to look good for him in the public eye. It ain't just about looks. It's a whole lot of things. People got to keep their body up. They got to keep all kind of stuff. So no, I'm not so one, and I don't think all black men. It's not all black because there's some black men who understand the situation. You know what I'm saying? There's some black men who are very high value thinking black men and understand that women when they are powerful and worth their investment, they understand that they don't question a woman that's worth their investment. They don't do that. Because they understand what a good woman at their side means to their business, their life, everything. They don't even question financial. And they understand that woman understands that too. Okay. And it ain't got to be it was you 16 and 17, they was broke. But there often is negotiation sometimes in wealth. When a man meets a wealthy woman, and a woman meets a wealthy man. Sometimes people don't want to have getting married and wish yours is mine, mine's yours. Sometimes people go, and sometimes what you will find is, because divorce can happen at any time. And it ain't about you building up, because now you've reached a certain status in your life and you want partnership. The avenue of partnership means something else. And most wealthy guys get that. Most wealthy guys understand that, hey, and maybe that's why our community struggles so much. I think because our women don't have a standard. We don't set up a standard for men. That's one thing I will say this, and I don't agree with him on everything, but Jason Black, the business, I say he's one of the most, if I listen to anybody, to me, he's one of the most balanced manosphere guys. I can't even call him that, even though I just sometimes disagree with him. Like, he put something up today about what was it about Michael B. Jordan and what's her name? But I said, we're assuming about him and Lori, what's her name? Lori Harvey. But we're assuming that Michael B. Jordan we're assuming that he's a great guy and Lori Harvey just lost out. Maybe he's not. Maybe there's other things going on that you don't know. What if you find out there was a bad thing about him and you like, woo, hold up. Maybe she did lose out, especially all the stuff that go on in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but sometimes manosphere guys can be very man orientated and not. But one thing I say, he does sometimes get on the men too about understanding that what value it being a man that's high value or high thing. Even though I don't agree with everything he says, I do like that he is more balanced, I think. And he understands that men of value, men of means, don't sometimes worry about the things about other men worry. I don't know. But anyway, so going to that, I just disagree with this thought. I think it's not prostitution, because women are often having to come together, especially if they meet a wealthy man. Tonight, if I was single out here and I was to go for my fave, one of my faves, Lenny. Lydia, I'm coming, Lydia. If you mess up, I'm coming. Liddy Kravitz, right? I'm like, Liddy and me got to negotiate. Liddy, like, I want to keep my house in Paris. I don't want you taking my house in Paris. I'm like, well, Lenny, you know what? We're going to be together. We're going to get married up in these streets. That's going to cost you about, monthly. How's that going to work? Okay, while we during the marriage, if we stay married 5, if we stay married for the next 20 years, I want that prenup to go. I mean, there's going to have to be some negotiation with the finance. Hey, how much monthly does it take for you to live as a woman? Blah, 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 blah. What? You think that ain't real? Especially being Lenny Kravitz's wife? Somebody say Trebo, Carlotta, Trebo. Sure. That's a coin. Think about somebody like Maxwell. Y'all, he's an eligible bachelor y'all like out here, okay? Like, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all show be out Maxwell. Y'all be on every girl Maxwell day. The girl gotta look good. Gotta look nice. You gotta be out in public looking the best when you on his own. You gotta be looking, having your hair done. Shit, yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna negotiate. Hell yeah. Shoot, you man, hey. What that means for you, Maxwell, if we get married here, this is what I'm looking at. This a negotiation gonna have to happen, because he got substantially probably more opportunity to build wealth and more wealth than I do at this point in my life, right? So you can't, and we meet at each other at 2 different spots. Of course, I mean, even when you meet 2 wealthy people, got to come together and negotiate. So don't act like that's prostitution. No, it's not. She ain't saying you in order to sleep with me tonight. That's $50,000 a night, and 50 and 150,000 for the weekend. That's not what that is. That's a woman negotiating what the living expenses she's talking to. She really talking what y'all should be talking about in the first place. What it costs to be with me. People don't find it romantic. That's not real. What he talking about is unrealistic. That's because he met somebody when he was a young kid. But that don't always happen. People meet each other sometimes with both wealth and they still negotiating. So let's say tonight I meet Jeff. Jeff married now, but if Jeff wasn't married, me and Jeff married each other, and Jeff like me, and Jeff say, well, shoot, you, and let's say I'm a billionaire and Jeff a billionaire. And in the marriage, we go ahead and get married. We have a prenup. You take what's yours, I take what's mine. But in the marriage, during our marriage, we make $50 billion more. We done both got super rich off of since each other been married. Do we split that? How does that work? You gonna have to negotiate it. Quit sounding stupid. I'm tired of black men having this sound. It's like a sound of a scarcity from y'all. Let me. It's a young lady, another young lady who talked about this too. Let me pull this up. Hold on. If I can find it. I don't know which of my things it was in. Let me see if I can find it, y'all, for y'all. I have to look and see if I can find this. Sometime I have. Okay. Oh, there's something I just seen this art. I just seen a really good thing we need to talk about. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up. Okay. Let me see if I can find. Mhm. I don't know if I can find it. Okay, yeah, I thought I could find it, but I don't think I could. Let me look at one more thing. But I saw something else that I want us to talk about too in a minute. Oh boy, here you go. Okay, maybe I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. Okay, we'll look. Mm, okay, but anyway, it was a woman talking about how black women often have to be left to the dynamics of not looking like they are trying to uh, uh, date men who are have a certain lifestyle or something like that. But it's not fair. I don't want to talk about it if I don't really want to bring it up if we can't if I don't have it, because I hate to tell y'all about it and then I really don't have and I get it wrong. Okay, so let me okay, let's go back to here. Okay, so then I'm going to bring y'all to this other young lady. Bring it back. Okay, y'all. Okay. And it's been I guess the debate was surrounding what she said. So let me pull her out. Okay. And I didn't believe her either. So I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe her. She's very pretty, but I don't know if I believe her. Okay. So okay, let's
find normal, the nighttime girls, might not be normal for you. But for us, it's regular seeing $50,000, $60,000. It is a regular thing for us. Now for you might be $2,000, 5,000, or maybe you see that type of money in a year. Listen, the tax bracket that I'm on is not for everybody. My bills, not everybody has those bills. And I know people, girls actually, that have bigger bills than me. So if their man required them to sit down, I think that it's only fair to get double. What am I going to do if you pay my bills and my bills only? Where's my emergency money? What if something happens to you? Okay, regardless of the number, if it's 50, 20, 10, $500. If you want your girl to stop working, you need to give her double her bills. Because emergency happens. You guys want to get up and leave.
Okay, she called herself a nighttime girl, so that might be something different. Maybe if you a nighttime girl, I don't know if you selling something. She's selling her time. If that's what she's talking, but I do kind of agree with this. A lot of times, wealthy men don't have time for you to get off your job. Okay, no, this. Unless you have your own some sort of status or something like that, or something like that they can use within their situation. Like if you Beyonce, it's a different story. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. Because a lot of times wealthy men can use that. Or if you're another executive or something like that. But what I'm trying to say here is, okay, I kind of understand what this girl is saying a little bit. A lot of times men who are really, really have a lot of money they want to see, some men want to see their girls to be gone. Hey, I got a trip. Can you come with me on this business trip? Can you do this? This what's happened. This is what happened to a lot of, we talked about the girls who like Chantel Jackson and stuff like that beforehand, because she was Floyd's girlfriend or whatever. That would look like a full-time job being Floyd's girlfriend. Okay. She was a lot of places with Floyd. Okay. Floyd had to be giving her something. You can't be living off of shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? To run around here with Floyd Mayweather. If you're going to live the life of you're a dumb broad if you run around here calling yourself somebody's girlfriend and you on tour with him. You his girlfriend, not nobody just going to see his show, but you his girlfriend and you on tour and he ain't and you done and you eating ramen noodles every night while he eating steaks and stuff. No, you have to give you, hey babe, I'd love for you to come with me on this tour. Okay, I ain't gonna be working. So what you go? What you need to make sure I'm taken care of, and plus I gotta look good while I'm out here with you. Like I respect that. Or if he could need you to go to the to something, he having a big event. Hey, I'm having a big event for the company tonight. I need you on my arm. I work tonight. Well, I what's the salary? Most wealthy men don't want to do it. Unless you're something also. You know what I'm saying? Like something huge also. But if we're talking about women who are, this girl's she's a very beautiful woman, and she's saying, hey, if you want me to be running around with you, if you want me to be on your arm, playing to you, catering to you and stuff, that's going to cost. And a lot of times those women don't do, listen, sometimes they're just showpieces. Sometimes the girls are just out here, the men like them to be with them on their thing. Hey, it's not that and it's not a whole transaction. Some of it is the dudes just don't have time. Like if the girl doing if she doing, like, I'm not talking about she's a big executive or something like that, but if you doing like you working at Target, that's not good. Then you working at Macy's, that make you better. Okay, you working at Macy's or something. You in the clothing, you the head manager at Macy's, and you just run up on a baller. like a Jeff Bezos the second. Okay, you know what up he like, you know, he on all the Amazon. He really like you, and you done been out to dinner and everything. He's like, you're cultured, you're smart, you just happen to, you know, be managing at retail or whatever. He likes you and he think you that girl, right? Uh, hold on, y'all. He think you that he think you that girl and everything. But you know, your job in retail, you're always busy on the weekends. You're busy on the this and that. You're busy and stuff. And he wants you to be with him. You and him have gotten serious. It's not something that you're not just seeing each other here and there, but now he's calling you his girlfriend. Okay, and now you're in the public eye, and now you're this and that. He gonna be like, quit Macy's, I got you. So some women have to sign a contract and all that because you want to make sure you take care of while you with him. And he say he gonna take care of you, right? So you got to make sure things is up in order because sometimes his lifestyle requires you to be more at for service than him. And if you don't, you know, you might say, hey, I can work my job on call or part time. But I guess that's what she's saying. She's saying it requires a certain amount of money, double pay her. She can't just be running around with you to all your events and stuff. But most wealthy men know that. It's people who not in that lifestyle that don't know that, right? Most wealthy men, when they want a woman around to be, because I would say men, when we're talking about men like Jeff Bezos, right? I forget his wife's name now, but she was married before to a big time person. But that particular woman, she's accomplished in of herself. But to be Jeff Bezos' wife is a job in and of itself. It's a job. You got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of events, a lot of going around, a lot of this and that, a lot of that. I mean, that's why I always tell women, I say, think about when you are asking for these things, you know, think about if you work with that partnership, like you understand the man that you get with, you know what I'm saying? And what you have to do to be in his, you know, in his sphere, in his atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? What does that look like for you? Because suddenly his business becomes your business. Like my girlies out here that got the crushes on Maxwell. Y'all like Max. Max cute. Y'all like got Maxwell. Okay, so what does that mean to be with somebody guy like Maxwell? You know what I'm saying? He's first of all, he has lots of stuff going on. How do you need to look when you go to the Grammy Awards? How do you need to look if you go to the Oscars? How do you need to be if you're his guest on his cruise and you're not hitting or something? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not like you ain't no hoe. But I'm talking about if you like his girl, how you need to be looking. You know what I'm saying? It's that being with them type of dude costs a lot. I mean, being with a wealthy, not just a celebrity, but a man who's of value and wealth. You got to have your shit together, okay? And sometimes that's a job within of itself, okay? You gotta be looking good, looking for it. So this girl is saying, hey, y'all ain't in my atmosphere. Aisha Diaz, what's her name? Aisha Diaz said, hey,
and
that's
leave
my
us with
call.
nothing. And guess what? Those bills still stand and they're still waiting on us. And here we are jobless, haven't worked in years or months, and we have to start from scratch. So there's nothing wrong for a woman to want a safety net. And the safety net should be double what your bills are. I don't want to be living month to month. And if something happens to you, then I'm effed. And guess what? Oh, you should have some money saved up. Okay, how am I going to have money saved up if you only give me enough just to pay the bills?
But shit, 50 is a lot. Shit.
Where is it going to come from if I'm
but
not
it just
working?
depends on the type of man you're dealing with. Because there are certain wealthy men who like you to have like you have certain types of like looks. Maybe they like to deal with certain designers. Hey, babe, I know you like Fashion Nova. I know you like me. I mean,
that creating impact out.
Oh my goodness, you guys, I didn't know you weren't hearing me. Hold on. Oh my God, I didn't know you guys weren't hearing me. I gave a whole speech about the making the money and everything. Oh my goodness. What I was talking about was women that make $50,000 or more. Women who are asking men for 50,000. Oh God, I didn't realize my mic was unplugged. Y'all forgive me for that. Okay. But I was saying how women who make $50,000, talking about wanting $50,000 a month for men, their lifestyles are built very differently. Some of those women, when you're dealing with gold diggers and things like that, a lot of those women, oh my God, I hate that you guys could not hear me. Oh, I was saying that it was good what I was saying. I'm upset. Okay, but I was saying a lot of those women live. So I may have to play this again. Oh, goodness. We may have to go back. Hold on here. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's start with her again. Okay. I don't know how much of that y'all missed either. Gosh. Okay. Let's put this up.
Us. Now, for you, might be $2,000, 5,000, or maybe you see that type of money in a year. Listen, the tax bracket that I'm on is not for everybody. My bills, not everybody has those bills. And I know people, girls actually, that have bigger bills than me. So if their man required them to sit down, I think that it's only fair to get double. What am I going to do if you pay my bills and my bills only? Where's my emergency money? What if something happens to you? Okay, regardless of the number, if it's 50, 20, 10, $500. If you want your girl to stop working, you need to give her double her bills. Because emergency happens. You guys want to get up.
Okay, so this young lady I don't think people got what she was talking about. She's talking about a man who's probably of high value or high means, and he wants his girlfriend to stop working. Or he wants the person he's with in a relationship to stop working, and he's probably a man that has a lot of money. She's saying, hey, and I just talked about, in order to be a part of his lifestyle, what does that cost you? Like, I think women need to think about that always. Like, like we always like I always was talking about, I was joking about Lenny Kravitz and Maxwell or stuff like that. You get your dream guy. Okay, listen here. Okay, it's different rolling around with Lenny. Even though Lenny looked like, he a rocker and he looked like he down to earth. But what's Lenny on there? What's that? Saint Laurent. He on there. He got Saint Laurent perfume. He on there. He in the big boys. He up there dealing with shoes. Some of that stuff I can't even pronounce. Shoot, look, I saw Maxwell on the AI with some Prada boots. I said, the fuck? I only got some Prada sunglasses. Do I get some Prada? I think I had some Prada shoes. Do I get some Prada boots? Hey, if I got them, I couldn't afford it. I probably paid for them on corner. You know what I'm saying? So these are dudes that's walking around in Prada, Saint Laurent. You know what I'm saying? So you go out in public with them. You can probably fashion over it every now and then. But for the most part, your ass probably got to have on some Christian Dior or some old shit. He's expensive. They ass is expensive to walk around with. If you go to the Grammys, you probably got to get your dress done. He gonna have to pay for that shit. Ain't nobody got that kind of money. That's what the girl is saying. She's saying, hey, it costs a lot. It's a lot. It's expensive to be with some of them baller shot collars. And they don't think like Ryan Clark is talking about. Ryan, you've been married that girl since she was 60 years old. You was in sports. She didn't probably had to be seen with you like that. Like Patrick Mahomes' wife has to be seen with him at all the awards because Patrick is the boy, right? Ryan was big, but not like Patrick. You know, she gotta be have her shit together. Like I look like she done had some work done. It's like when Tamika, what's her name? With Tamika, she that I went across. That's when she almost died years ago. That girl who was married to Usher, and she went to go get some work done allegedly back in the day, and she almost died on the operating table. He didn't know she went to go get that work done. But you know why she went to go get that work done? Because she was feeling the heat. You gotta look a certain way being with these people. It is a cost and a price. It ain't just I want to be with. I just want to run around here. He's so fine. I want to be with Lenny. He's so fine. I want to be with Maxwell. He's so fine. I want to be with Tyrese. I mean, shit. I'm just throwing somebody out there. He's so fine. I want to be with Denzel. He's so fine. I want to be. It costs. Like it depends. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot. That's a heavy lifestyle. So. Like Lori Harvey, y'all be hold up. Let's talk about Lori for a second. You know how much Lori, it's good Lori got a daddy like Steve. Cause it costs to be running around here with Michael B. Jordan. And what's that other boy she running around with here? The English boy. I forget his name. But him too. It's expensive. So these boys, they get listen here. Okay? You think when she was running around on a yacht with Puffy? I guess it was expensive running around with Puffy. Come on, it's expensive running around. I mean, who like y'all don't even think like that. That's why I said I had one girl talk to me about. We were having a discussion. I've talked about this on the show before. I had one young lady who was talking to me about about being with trying to be with a big time person that she liked, right? And I was like, yeah, I mean, hey, because I have seen that kind of stuff up close a little bit and seen certain things and stuff like that. I don't know it all the way, but I just can tell you what I learned from looking at other people. And she was like, what you think I should do to get this person? I said, well, let me just say to you, have you thought about that? Like, have you thought about like what that means? Like, I know it look good. Like you looking at it, you want he fine, but that ain't it. He's got a whole lifestyle. Like it ain't about just like getting with him. Like if you want to be taken seriously by him now, if you just want a one night stand, well, shit, that's easy. People can do that out. But if you're trying to have a life with this person, like you gotta, and this is ladies, this ain't with just men who are famous. This is men everywhere. Even the dude that's working at the local, he's a plumber. Even a dude who's a lawyer or a dude who's a surgeon. Like you gotta understand, what does it mean for me to be his partner? For me to be his helpmeet? What does that mean? And am I equipped to be it? Me and my girlfriend was talking about this the other day. We were talking about like how a lot of times people get married and everything, and you find out during the marriage that you like I don't know if I'm equipped to be this person's partner. I'm equipped for certain things, but I'm not equipped to be. I didn't realize at the time. I was just thinking about love, but am I equipped to be the help me you need? Like it ain't just about looking at the perks and everything that they get. Because you ruin, you come in and mess up somebody's life. But it's not just many people who do that. It's many people who do this, men and women, come into people's lives knowing they not what you don't know. And then you get in there and you realize, am I equipped to do this? Am I equipped to be the kind of man that she needs? Am I equipped to be the kind of woman that he needs? Can I bring to the table something that helps him? Like, it ain't even no sense of me playing that way. That's what I was telling her. Look, because it's something where you don't want to get into something and you're not equipped for that. Like, and I was telling her, just be honest with yourself and really look, can you work that situation out? Are you built to be that help person for him? What does that mean to be that? If you're trying to get this person to be serious, if you first of all, you gotta ask if you gotta find out about him and see if he's a serious guy. He might not be, he might be a playboy. I remember back in the day, I really, 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 there was a particular person I really liked, and I was crazy. I thought he was really nice, and he's well to do. He's a really nice guy, and as the more I got to know him, the more I was just like, am I equipped to be like with this person? Because it was just that we just had very different ideas about life. Like, I thought about the deeper things. I was like, and it's very important for me, philanthropy. Even on my little old level now, shoot, I go to the give to. I just gave away a bunch of stuff the other day. I like to, even on my little level, I like to feel this person care less about that, and they have money. And then I couldn't get them to care about that. Like, I couldn't get them to see the higher thoughts. And then when I would talk to this person, I noticed that my sphere of influence over them was not good. He didn't, like, I could say something to him and he would just like, eh. A couple of months later, a person would say it to him and he would believe them. And I'd be like, I said that. It was just like I didn't have the influence and the thing for him. And I realized, I said, you know what? This is not going to work because you don't trust me to speak into your life. And you ask me, but you don't trust me from that point of view. And if you want me to be something serious to your life, whether it's you're going to be on to be your girlfriend and going on to be your spouse or anything, you don't see me as that. You don't really trust me. There is nothing. I'm not coming. You're not showing me that I inspire you, or I influence you in any kind of way. As a matter of fact, you're showing me just the opposite. And they were really upset. They were really hurt about it. But I was like, it's true. Why are you don't even listen to me? You don't even, when I say something to you and then you'll just dismiss it. And then a few weeks later, somebody say the same thing. And it was just like, I didn't have a sphere of influence that I think a woman needs to have. Not that he listened to me and he take everything I say, but when we would have deep conversations and respecting my thoughts and respecting my opinions about something and respecting it, even if he disagreed with it, but still respecting it and seeing they didn't see that I wasn't going to come in and ruin their life because you didn't feel like you trusted my thought process, or you didn't trust my ability to be what you needed me to be. You know what I'm saying? And part of that was that person really didn't know where they was going their damn self. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just saying. Women, when you want these type of guys, like this is, I would say this. I'm going to say this. She said she a nighttime worker. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Nighttime girl. I don't know what the hell that means. But she really got her set. She not for you. If you sitting up there going $50,000 is too much, she ain't looking for you. First of all, I don't think women tell it. First of all, I don't think women on the internet. She probably just trying to see who she can catch. But most girls who got the $50,000 allowance, a month allowance, and $50,000 a month dudes, They ain't trying to talk to no dudes. They ain't really telling y'all about it on the internet. Most of them is like quiet. They quiet up in these. They quiet in them streets. They just doing. They just getting their 50,000. Now she's very beautiful. It's possible she can get 50,000, but I personally think most women who rolling like that, asking for that much, they trying that. They out here fishing for it. But girls who really getting that, they ain't getting on the internet telling you. They ain't saying shit. Okay, but like she say, she a nighttime girl. It's a whole different world for her. Okay, so that's what we'll say for that. So I hope y'all heard that. Now I was talking about Summer Walker. I said that yesterday. A couple days, it was yesterday, day before yesterday, we had a discussion about Summer Walker, about how she was acting in these meet and greets. And y'all was talking about how she be rude and stuff like that and everything. And I was talking about how you have to understand when you're a part of the arts that you are of service. And I ran across this video where Oprah was talking about the same thing, okay? And why she always takes selfies with people. I thought it was very powerful. So listen to this. I just wanted y'all to hear it. Okay.
Is a part of my calling. It actually is what I was born to do, is to use my life in service to help other people see their lives more fully. That's what the Oprah show was all those years. That's what in the beginning of the young, when I was 21 and 22 and 19 working as a reporter, that's what I was leaning to or moving to, and feel fully realized in that now. And this is what I know for sure. I was saying this to a friend recently who has suddenly received a lot of fame and attention, is trying to handle the fame. And the person was saying to me, well, how do you handle going out in public and everybody just wants a piece of you and everybody just wants a selfie and I said, what you're doing when you're doing a selfie is not actually a selfie. It's validation for that person. It's seeing that person and allowing that person to be seen by you in a way that makes them feel like they matter. And if you are a public figure, that is a part of your service. You are in service to help other people see themselves, not just seeing you as a celebrity, but seeing the celebrity within themselves that matters. And so for me, it's never been an issue, because I see that what I do and who I am in the world as a part of the service that is my calling. That's why I've been blessed with this, is to share it.
And that's exactly what I said to y'all the other day. I said that I said when people walk in that door and they see Summer Walker, it may be a girl that's working at Wendy's right now. And she see herself, Summer Walker, in herself. But she in there acting like nasty work, a basic bird. Then ain't nobody, she don't think she a service to nobody. She just thinks she being famous for something. I don't know. But Oprah hit it right on the thing. She said, this is her act of service. This is her life's calling, is to do these things, is to make other people to see the importance in themselves, to see that, hey, I'm human. This is what I've done. You can be something too. You can do what's your purpose in your life. I'm here to help you. And also, if that's just getting a selfie with me, if that's just acknowledgement, if that is me being kind for 10 or 15 minutes, because you don't know how Oprah has inspired somebody's life, regardless of what you think personally of Oprah and stuff like that. And let me just say this, Oprah is an Aquarius. What did I say about Aquarius? Is Aquarius that is walking in her highest form, by the way. Aquariuses are what? Philanthropists. Acts of service. This is the age of what? Aquarius. Not the age of Piscean, it's gone. We are now in the age, except the celebrities don't still realize that. They still think they're in the age of Pisces. You are in the age of Aquarius. Now, Pisces is a higher calling to deep and creativity. Aquarius is about creativity, but it's also about a higher calling of philanthropy and being present and being a servant. So if you don't get that, it might be a little hard for y'all out here in these streets. Okay. Oprah already got it. deep what she said. I love that. I love that. Shout out to Oprah. I thought that was very good. She just said, I see that as a part of my service, what I'm doing. Even though I don't agree with Oprah on a lot of stuff. I don't like the Africanization going over there. I don't like none of it, but I still like some of the things she says. That's very Aquarius of her. I like that. I respect that. Okay. It's very godly of her, very spiritual, I think. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Okay, I don't know if we should talk about EJ first, because EJ is just the ridiculousness of everything. Okay, no, this is it. Okay, let's talk about before we get into EJ, Magic Johnson's daughter or son, or that, both. I don't know. Okay, before we get into that, I want to talk about this. Like, we were just talking about the $50,000 a month girl, and I was saying how she was telling me and was getting upset with her, but she's saying, hey, $50,000 a month. If you want me not working and be at your beck and call and be running around and traveling with you and all this stuff, this is the deal. And this is the kind of girl I am, and this is the kind of lifestyle I want. And Ryan, what's the song? It's like, that's prostitution. I don't think I saw that as prostitution. I saw it as somebody who's probably dealing with very high value men. Meaning that if you are dealing, like, okay, if you're dealing with your husband is working he's a corporate guy or whatever like that and stuff like that, that 9 to 5, very different than Jeff Bezos. Very different from Lenny Kravitz. Shit. Okay. Now listen, if you dealing with 9 to 5, she don't deal with that. She dealing with something else. Let's sound like Jeff Bezos types. Okay, so let me, like I said, let me let y'all in for, that's why I'm one black man to understand something for a minute. And that's why a lot of black women are getting higher standards, but we getting ready to go into this right now. If you dealing with Jeff Bezos ain't got time for you to be taken out from Macy's. Like, I gotta work this weekend. I got a big event for Amazon. I want you to be there with me. I gotta work this weekend. Work where? At Macy's? So Jeff gonna say, like I said, Jeff probably gonna eventually give her an allowance because the work gonna be him. Okay, so he gonna eventually be giving $50,000 because he men sometimes they don't even be sleeping with these girls sometimes. Sometimes they just like the girls on their own. But that's those type of men that she's dealing with, okay? But this woman asked it just made me question Ryan Clark and all that stuff. But this woman said something that I thought was very powerful. She said, do black women have it harder in relationships? Is there more expected of black women in these type of relationships? Have we let the standards down so low that y'all just expect black women to be, oh, see, now you if you working this month, and it's just, I don't know. Let's listen to her what she said. Okay, so we put share this stat.
Black women, when we say like, I want a man to provide for me, I want to be an at-home mom. Yeah. We are told like, sack chaser, you're supposed to work, you're strong. But when I sit with my white friends, their mothers was talking about marriage with them at like 17, 18, 19. Okay. They was like fresh out of college, like, where's your husband, Julie? Yeah. Like, you're not working. My Chinese friends, their parents, my Indian friends, their parents like, yeah, she was married at 22. It's normal. Yeah. And then when I look at my black friends, we like, I'm gonna hold this nigga down for 10 more years. Yeah, it's such a weird thing with us. Like, I don't know if it's just a black girl got the strong backbone, but weird. When I hang with
well, I'll tell you what I think is different, especially when we're talking about Black American culture. She's seeing what she's seeing with other cultures. I saw this, and not all the time do they get married young too, but they are marriage minded. I had a friend who went to college just when I was in school. She was in there just to look for a man. she was there to look for her. And one that could provide for her. She has a white girl. White girls thought nothing about that. And if they took the time to be with black males, a lot of time, I'm sorry to say this, a lot of them were black athletes and they were heavily investing in them because they knew they were going to turn over to be financially big time. They was not doing it for no reason. And black men, you don't have that same talk about white women coming over there marrying you and prenups and all that stuff. You don't be happy. And if you do sign a prenup, you ain't be that heavy like you do for black women. It be all heavy. Black women be really holding a lot of these dudes down. And she said, black women be like, let me hold this man down for another 10 years. And while they white friends and Chinese counterparts and all these other people are getting married and stuff like that. And when and then also black women are expected to not have, they don't like you, like a lot of black women, black men, a lot of black men don't like the idea of, they want black women to, like she said, I can't just be a stay at home person or a stay at home mama. So there is that there. Okay. Because part of this is why, let me tell you why. We come from a very different culture. One that had the history of slavery. Also, the history of racism, not only slavery, but chattel slavery, racism, add that on top of it, and a society in which our men are essentially very broken from the history of racism and slavery in this country, okay? So our men are dealing from a different thing. Now, part of that too, I also believe is just the racial dynamic. But I also believe black women have been babying black men for too long and not having a standard. I think if more black women held up a standard, I mean, I know there's a lot of people don't like Sprinkle. What's her name? But she is got a standard. Now, you might not like her standard, but you can work back from it. Like Sprinkle is like, listen here, bring home that check, bring home that money. I ain't doing nothing. But you don't have to do that. There are other women out there where you can still expect a man to provide or provision and things like that and inspire him to be the greatest. First of all, I think black women, a lot of things that we don't do, we just marry for love a lot of times. I don't think that we have a good perspective on if we're a good partner to that person. Or like I just said before, are you a good partner to whatever he's trying to do? Or are you not that for this person? I mean, it's all about help meet and stuff like that. And you learn that sometimes you get in a marriage and you learn it, or sometimes things happen. But I think black women have to start saying, I expect more. Yes, I think black women have it harder in the relationships. Yes, I think black women are not allowed to think of soft girl life without being called a gold digger. When we are below the poverty line in America, it's not us the gold diggers, okay? So I maybe we should all be more gold diggers. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? To have expectation. Realistic expectation, but nonetheless expectation. So no, I don't think this is bad what she said. And I think it's a great question and a great discussion to have. And I said that I don't think sometimes other races have that thing as much as we do. The men are expected to live a certain way. And then also we got a lot of women that's raised up a lot of our men. So a lot of the women, y'all were trying to tell them from a womanly perspective. So a lot of these men have been raised up as girls. They want to be pampered. They don't know what being a man is, being a provider. So they like, I want to do this too. I want to do. So you got a lot of men who are more the feminine aspect because they've been raised by femininity. And they don't find their value in being like when I just said my grandfather's old school. Okay, so my grandfather, we used to every now and then we'd be like we'd be feeling funny because we go out shopping and we bring him home with a little shirt and stuff like that. He'd be like, what? And be laughing or something like that. But I really believe when I really look back at it, my grandfather was just really just straight up so excited that we got to go to, we was We was shopping. We was doing different things, or we got to do, and he worked. But he was raised in old school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, the provision made him proud. He was like, yeah. Wow, like look at that. Oh, what you got that? You got that little outfit you want. That's cute. Oh, wait, what I got you? I got you. I think that was his, but the men today ain't that. Okay. Some of them they was raised by because they were raised by the feminine, most of them. So a lot of times they thing is they want pampering too. You know, not I'm not saying that men shouldn't get no pampering. I'm saying, but men's things are supposed to come from a different thing. Like men nowadays like to shop as much as the women do. I'm just saying what this is what we dealing with different perspectives here. It's a whole different world, okay? So you got to take that in mind too. That a lot of men are being so you got to like I was listening to I was even listening to a white lady the other day who comes on here on YouTube. She comes on YouTube a lot and she talks about relationships. And she said one of the things that she had to learn that there were two different types of men. There are men who have both masculine and feminine, which we know, masculine and feminine traits. Then there's just the men who are very masculine, but every man has a little bit of feminine, you know what I'm saying? And then you have men who are men who are in the feminine. And so and they're different, and there are men who you have to figure out which one is best for you, because there are men who they don't want to be the man. They don't want to always make decisions. They don't want to always do that. And that's okay. That's who they are. And then there are men who have a mixed bag of it. And then there's some men who are very masculine but like to make the decisions, like to have this and that going on or something like that. So it just depends. You know, so I think that's something that we as Black women have to start examining also, okay? That there's levels to this, all right? All right, moving on. Let's go to EJ. Lord have mercy, EJ out here in these streets, okay? Okay, EJ had an interview with EJ Johnson. This is according to what I need to put that it's on site up here. Hold on just a minute, y'all. We'll pull up. EJ had an interview this week with Carlos King, and he said some very controversial things, okay? So we're going to talk about, play what he said. Okay, let me get that. I can pull it up. Okay, here we go. Okay, it says EJ Johnson says he's looking cuter than any girl these days. I'm killing the dress. No one else is. The girls in the room are not doing it. They don't look cute. And he also says that he doesn't go places where gay males are. I don't have that clip, but he says he goes where the straight males are because that's who's attracted to him. I said, well, if they're attracted to you, are they straight? Well, I think I understand.
Like, what's the issue? And that's exactly how I apply it to myself to these days in the way that I present, like in my, in my feminine regalia. I've always been a feminine being, and like that's just like how I best express myself. But I'm like, listen, I'm out all the time, and like I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like the girls in the room are not doing it. Like they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So, I love it. This, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? Like, what's the issue? And that's exactly how I apply it to myself to these days in the way that I present, like in my.
Okay. A lot of women were offended by this. I mean, and why attack women? Because women are who you're trying to be. So much problem. And I think I know where he's trying to go. He's trying to say he's a woman now, and he doesn't consider himself like a gay male. But the problem is, EJ, you were once a male, and that's something that people can't overlook. That's why it's called transgender. I don't know if he's completely transferred over or not, but saying that you look better than the very people you're trying to be is wow. I don't know. And then saying that straight men are or where you want to be. What? Huh? Because I think he's trying to say I'm a woman. But no, most straight men who are straight would not like you if they found out you were a man. Wow. I don't even know if this is worth me even discussing. There's nothing more I can't even say. At least that's his confidence. I don't know. And he in Hollywood, and he might be that. In Hollywood, it's a different type of attraction level going on. Now, in Hollywood, a lot of men like transgender males. I mean, transgenders. I can't say because he's male. He's a transgender female. Is that what he being? I don't know if he's transgender or not. But yeah, okay, but this is not everywhere. The world is not Hollywood. It's just I don't know. And then thinking you look better than a girl in I don't know. This is crazy. Okay, I can't. I don't even know. This is something I should be talking about. Okay. Sometimes you gotta let it go. Okay, you don't let it go. All right. Sean Penn didn't show up after winning Best Oscar. What is Sean Penn? Sean Penn won the award for Best Supporting Actor last night, which they was just slapping Del Rey all up in the face. What's his name? Del Rey. They was like, they don't give a damn you've been out here for 100 years. They gonna give it to Sean Penn, Sean Penn just as disrespectful to their ass as he wanna be. Sean Penn, like, bitch, I didn't I ain't showed up to get that Oscar. I said, is Sean Penn showing black people what they should be? Like, he didn't show up for his Oscar. Sean Penn was a no-show. What's Sean Penn out here going to his beliefs? Film star Sean Penn stepped out of a train. Let me tell you, this is from Reuters. Train carriage in central Kyiv on Monday, thousands of miles from the glitz of Hollywood Dolby Theater, where he had failed to turn up to receive his third acting Oscar hours earlier. Penn, 65, won the Best Supporting Actor for his role in the political thriller One Battle After Another, but skipped Sunday's ceremony to travel to meet Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, in the war-battered capital. The Reuters Inside Track newsletter is yours. Okay, wait a minute. It says, you read the wrong thing. Ukraine's state railway operator posted a short video clip of Penn getting out of the train in the morning, saying it had kept his trip a secret until the very last moment. Now we can say it officially. Sean Penn chose Ukraine over the Oscars. It said it on his Facebook. Zelensky posted a picture of him meeting the actor in the presidential office in Kyiv's barricaded government quarters. The photo showed the black-clad president talking to Penn, who was wearing a t-shirt and jeans. There were no immediate details on their conversation. Sean, thanks to you, we know that what a true friend of Ukraine is like. Listen, Sean Penn skipped the damn fucking Oscar. He didn't even care. He like, fuck the Oscar. Y'all black people all up there. Hey, Oscar. Sean Penn is like trying to show you I care more about what I believe in, my mission. I'm not just an actor. Even though I might not agree with all Sean Penn's shit. I might think Sean Penn a little too out, but Sean Penn about that life. Sean Penn, like, you know what? I'm going over to Korean and talk political and talk to the thing. I'm about that life. I don't give a fuck if they don't give me no Oscar again. You know what? They gonna keep giving Sean Penn Oscars. Why? Because he don't give a fuck. Why is it that you niggas always giving too much of fucks? Y'all got the most political to be worried about. Y'all all on the, we still here. Even though I hate, we still here. We still talking about, look, Michael B. Jordan got an Oscar. So the fuck what? Good for him. I mean, congratulations. I want you to win. I heard the lady girl say the other night, I forget her name, Miss Pratt, Madam President. She said, I want you to win. I definitely want you to be, but who cares? At what cost are y'all winning? Sean said, I'm on to the deeper thing. I done already established myself up in this place. I don't even give a shit about that little funky award. Y'all care about this award more than anybody else. He don't even care about the Oscars. He has no care for the Oscars right now. He went to Ukraine on the night of the Oscars. And you know that was a big middle finger to the Oscars. Like, the hell, I got more important things to do. So what are you Negroes sitting up in the audience just clapping? Hey, I'm happy we be here for dinners. Every 5 to 6 years, they do the same thing. They do it. They do the same thing. Now, what if you, as a black actor, says, you know what, I'm going to skip, you win your Oscar. Denzel, let's use Denzel as an example. Win his 3rd Oscar, and Denzel don't show up at the award show, but instead, Denzel decide to go. Let's see what's important for black people in the world right now. He decide to go and have a discussion or have a meeting group with Adolf. And talk about what he can do for the black collective coming in the future. You know what they do to him? He couldn't even they be shutting Denzel down. Denzel was at a meeting with some group we don't even know of. Let alone if Denzel said, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to go over to another country. Like say, you go over to Africa or somewhere. I'm going to go over there and discuss with the South African people how we as black people black Americans can help and be better, understanding their position. You know what the hell would have happened? But I prefer $8 because we got to be worried about our own self. Or FBA, he went and talked to Tariq Nasheed. I mean, he would never see an Oscar again, but Sean Penn gonna see plenty of them. So why would y'all even mess around? I'm trying to tell you, black people, this is the kind of attitude. Sean Penn is showing you the kind of attitude that you gotta have when you are into advocacy. Sean Penn is a white male who don't really give a damn. Don't worry. He don't really care about it. He understands what it is. He done already made his way up in Hollywood. He done. He on the other thing. Why? He sees the Oscars for what it is, and they still gave him one. We need the confidence like that. We need the confidence of that. What are you gonna show up? Well, Carlotta, why wouldn't we show up? Because they keep treating you like a stepchild. Like Sean like, all right, I done paid my dues. I done did everything. I ain't got to show up at that mess. I'm standing up for something deeper in the world. But you Negroes can't do that. Because most of you in Hollywood can't stand for nothing deeper. You scared. Sean ain't scared of getting killed. Well, you gonna be a person of advocacy and stop pretending? Are you gonna be something? Y'all gonna be really deep? If you celebrities gonna be really deep, you gotta be a Sean Penn. You gotta think like a white. You don't have to act like you don't have to be a white man, but you gotta act like one. Like these are different words. Man, I'm over here. I'm having a meeting tonight. I'm not thinking about it. Thank you, Oscars. I'm sure Sean sent the thank you note. Thank you. Send it to my house. I know I got 2 others on the shelf. this is not all that I stand for so much more. Even if you don't like what he's standing for, he's still standing for it. Moving on. Sean Penn showing y'all how to do it. I hope y'all catch it. Okay. The young lady from, remember the Coldplay concert? Okay, this is going to be our last thing of the night, where the couple was found and people thought they were having an affair. Well, come to find out, it wasn't everything that you thought. As a matter of fact, that wasn't everything. That wasn't the whole thing. So let me let y'all hear a little bit of this. Is what Oprah had on. Let me share this tab.
Having an affair, or you're just very shy?
This would be the only on-camera interview that you're planning to give. Why did you decide to be here today? Take us back to the night of the Coldplay concert. That was the first time you all had physically touched. I did not know the crucial part of that story that was missing from all of the TikToks. I'm going to let you share that. Do you still talk to Andy Byron, your former boss? You've been called a slut, a homewrecker, a gold digger, a side piece, the usual tags for shaming women. Why do you think there was so much hate?
Okay, so first of all, both of these people were in separations. They both were separated, both from their spouses. But that's what you're going to find out. You could go watch this whole show. But they were both separated at the time. Matter of fact, the lady, her husband was there that night. Her estranged husband was there at the Coldplay concert that night while she was going out on this first time with her boss. First time they went out. First time they, and they're going to tell a lot more about this relationship. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? Y'all get mad because y'all think everybody having you don't know how these affairs get started. Some of these affairs, some people are hoes, but some people, it's other stuff going on. Now, people was shaming her, calling her a slut, a hoe. That was the first night she said, I think there's more to the story. I think they're going to say it's the first night they ever touched. They hadn't even been in, they were just went out with each other. And they were not in their marriages anymore. They were both separated. Okay? So, my personal opinion is, if I'm separate, let me just give y'all a little to do too. I gotta do on here. First of all, you a CEO. I still say it's dumb because you give even if you separated, whatever. If you separated and you in the midst of breaking up, if you're not separated, whatever you're doing out in the streets. But if you separated and you got a substantial thing in society, lay low till the divorce is final. I say lay low. Don't why y'all gotta be at the Coldplay concert? Why you gotta be at the Coldplay concert? Everybody seeing y'all faces all up on the screen and shit. Like I've been like, hell no. We going through a divorce. Let's keep it low. I'm going with my friends. I'll see you across the street. I'll wave at you or whatever. But we don't want nobody to know what's up. You want to get out of your stuff clean if you're trying to come out of it clean. Listen, my personal opinion to people, when you walking out the door and you know that you are separated or you're going through a divorce, if you can't wait until everything is clear and final and you done met somebody, my personal thing for you, I would keep it quiet for at least a year till a year after my divorce. Just fact straight up. I don't think it's nobody's business. I ain't on the internet. I ain't taking no selfies. I ain't taking no pictures. I ain't at no shows. I don't care if it's Denzel. Denzel say, babe, I want us to go to the Oscars. No. And Denzel broke up with Paulette and I broke up. I'd be like, nope. Ain't nobody go. Nope. That's too soon. People be talking shit. Give us a year. Okay. All right, good. At least you can't wait a year, 6 months. Okay, 6 months, a good 6 months before you start showing up in public. Okay. I mean, dang, ain't we got some common sense? And their spouses were where everybody knew everybody was separated. Okay. All right. So that's very interesting. It's on the Oprah podcast. You can hear the whole story on there. But it's funny how people went off on that lady and they were calling her names and stuff like that. But the whole thing was, though, both of those people were not in, they were both kind of having issues in their marriage and separated. Now, I know people don't like to hear separate because people feel like he's still married in separation. Yes, I will agree with that. But a lot of people start other relationships while they're separated. Okay. Let's not act like we slow out here. All right. So next story. I thought this was very interesting. This is from It's On Site. It says, I want elders to stop leaving houses to men in the family. One woman sparks debate asking why property gets left to sons who cannot maintain it. Very interesting. Okay. So let me let y'all hear. And this happens with a lot of.
Stop leaving houses to men in the family. That's the generational curse I want to see broken. Because for some reason, the house is left to the man and they don't pay the property taxes. A paid off house is left to the man. And then a responsible woman, sister, cousin, auntie has to make sure the house stays in the family that this grown ass man lives in for free. And they have to pay the property taxes on said house because grown ass men never fail to grow the fuck up. Grandma taking care of people when she dead and gone. We need to start leaving houses to women. I don't know why the elders feel like they got to take care of grown ass men, even in the afterlife. Women are out here figuring it the fuck out, but grown ass men been living with their grandmas since high school. Grandma dead and gone, and they still in the house, and they can't maintain the property. They can't pay the property taxes. House about to be goddamn taken by the goddamn state because they can't do the bare fucking minimum. Code enforcement stay coming out. That's what I want to see. We need to stop leaving the house to the fucking men. Leave it to a woman. Leave that shit to a fucking woman.
I'm going to say this as a person who is kind of understanding a similar situation like this. Often women, I'm going to really be honest with you, okay? Women in the families are often very responsible. Sons sometimes, not all sons, because there's a lot of sons that are great providers, great responsibility. But a lot of times it's always the person that's doing the most work that families tend to forget about. A lot of times these grown men, like she talking about, is grown men living up in these houses and stuff like that, and the aunties and sisters and stuff come through and pay the property taxes because they not giving a shit. They not doing what they need to be doing. They not doing anything that they supposed to be doing to maintain the home or to maintain the situation. And uh 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 a lot of these women are also taking care of that aging parent or those aging parents as they get older and stuff. I'm gonna be the real with you. You gotta take care of your fucking self. I'm really gonna be honest. If you helping somebody, an aging parent, an aging loved one, or something like that, and they leaving all their shit to an irresponsible motherfucker, that's what I'm saying, just like that. An irresponsible motherfucker. They leaving it to an irresponsible, and they not looking out for you, but you still want to take care of them. Do it out of the kindness and love of your heart. But other than that, you have a right to advocate for yourself. Hey, mama, he ain't here doing no work. Hey, daddy, he ain't here doing no work. We need to get some paperwork signed to the fact that I need to be on the paperwork. I need to be this and that because I'm doing all the work. And you know what's going to happen when you're gone. This mofo ain't going to do nothing. Now, if you don't want to advocate for yourself, and if you find yourself with relatives who don't respect you and don't respect what you've done for them, and you still don't just want to do it out the kindness of your heart, well, then you need to leave motherfuckers where they at, stand, and maybe let the person who getting the property, then let him take care of you. But if you're doing it out the kindness of your heart, okay, go ahead and make that decision to do so. But if you are a person who's angry about this, then you need to advocate for yourself. What happens with a lot of Black people, Black women in the family, Black women even though they know it's wrong, they still tend to go ahead and be taken care of and doing all the work and letting their family leave stuff or give stuff to a bum motherfucker. And that's not fair to you. It ain't no fair to you use up all your life force and your resources unless it's out the kindness of your heart. And you don't got and they don't feel like you should get nothing. And they give something to somebody who don't do nothing. I saw this with a family one time. I saw them give their drug addict son. There was people who was helping this particular couple, helping them all through helping them through their sickness, everything. When they died, they didn't leave none of the people who was helping them and around them and helping them every day, nothing. They left their drug addict son all the wealth. Didn't do nothing but spend it up on drugs. And there were people who came in there and made sure they were comfortable in their last days while his ass was out there on the streets, running around on the streets. People shouldn't have, you know what? People should have been advocating for themselves. Hey, what's going to happen to the house and everything? Because people helping you. And he ain't doing nothing. He get to come in here and collect. It's crazy. But this often happens in Black families, and it often happens to women because women, the babysitting goes beyond the mama and the daddy for the sons. It goes to you too, the aunties and aunts and all them taking care of the stuff. And you content with doing that. So you can't get mad. You can't get upset unless you're going to do something about it, okay? They said it's a let me see. I'm looking at some of these comments. Yeah, this is a woman said. The amount of court cases I've seen that the mom or grandma left everything to the bum son, uncle of the family is unmatched. Meanwhile, grandma was taken care of by the women in the family. She not lying. This happens so many. Now remember in the Bible when the daughters, there's a point in the Bible when I forget what it was. When the daughters, I forget, daughters of I think I think it was, I forget what book it was in, but I forget the daughters came up and asked for their inheritance because the men was supposed to get it, and they was like, no, we are the rightful heirs. So what it happens is a lot of times, Black women, you are not advocating for yourselves. We are just not doing it. We are not advocating for ourselves. We have to advocate for ourselves. It is not right that a parent is irresponsible and leaves their wealth or stuff to an irresponsible person, and it gets taken care of by the other person in the family. That's just, and listen, if you're that person that's gonna do that and you're not advocating for yourself, or it doesn't do you any good to advocate for yourself, or you just realize what it is, then prepare yourself. Okay, prepare yourself to understand that you already seeing what it is. These people don't care about you. Okay, so I want you to prepare yourself to do whatever it is that you've decided to do, whether it's take care of these family members or not. But just expect I know this is gonna sound cliche, but expect it from God, because sometimes we dealing with shit like this. I'm telling you right now, okay? So I understood this completely, okay? I understand that, okay? And that happens with a lot of Black families. Okay, that happens. And it usually happens to a lot of and it's done with a lot of sons, especially in black families. I see it a lot. Okay. So she's not lying on that. All right. Okay, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the talk. That's our last thing. I think that's the last one. Okay. You guys, I will try to get to come talk to you this week about other stuff, but meanwhile, you guys can hit me up on the Carlotta Chat with Facebook page, or you can hit me up on C Chat with Show, Carlotta72 on Twitter. Also, on X. And also Instagram is Carly's with an S _ Galaxy. You hit me up there, and then there's a link to Threads on there also, okay? And for TikTok, it's Keisha Carlotta, okay? I am out. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all week. Enjoy y'all Tuesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day again. Hope y'all enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Let's leave out with some of this little electric music. All right, I'm out. See y'all.